Thanks for tuning into the Texas Scratch King channel. In this video you will hear 3 stories. Number 1 about a top underrated brood bitch Greenwood's Miss Holladay, and number 2 a short story about Boyles champion bolt action R.O.M. And number 3 a match review on Rolling Hills champion Taz R.O.M. Here in this video we will say ladies first and start with Miss Holladay. Let us begin. Miss Holladay is considered the cornerstone of the Greenwood bloodline and the foundation for many lines to follow. Ms. Holladay herself was used specifically as a brood gyp as she was cold and wouldn't start. It was her ability to produce that separated her from some of the other dogs in history. She whelped only a few litters. That are as follow. When bred to Greenwood's Okie, she produced Coomerling's champion Freddie, 1-4 and lost 2-1 to Steps Grand champion Angus. Ozzie Stevens champion Homer R.O.M, 1-4 and lost dead game to champion Jeep. Greenwood's Holladay Hannah, who produced Jessup's 3-time winner Spitfire, and Greenwood's champion Mountain Boy, 4-time winner. In her second litter, this one sired by Maloney's Davis. She produced Greenwood's champion Black Sabbath, 1-4 and lost dead game to Smith & Walton's champion Bad Billy R.O.M. Greenwood's champion Cobra, she won 3. And Greenwood's champion J.D., who sired champion Nino. She was also bred to Giroux, champion Malo. This litter didn't have the impact or notoriety of the previous breedings. To my knowledge, I've only come across one of those dogs ever being matched. Her name was Penny and she was picked up in 31 minutes. The following litter, second by Davis, produced several excellent bulldogs, most of which were never matched, but used as brood stock. Of these, there was Greenwood's Martha White, she was the dam of the 3-time winner Giroux, champion Booger R.O.M. Greenwood's Scarlet, dam of Frank and Al's grand champion Booker. And then there was Greenwood's Delta, dam of Stiltner's 1-time winner Laverne. These dogs distinguished themselves not only by beating and competing against excellent competition and demonstrating that crawling back gameness that is so rarely found, but had the ability to pass these traits on generation after generation. Unfortunately, Ms. Holladay died in a kennel accident with a belly full of pups by Okie. If all of the matches were reported and accepted, she would have a total of 6 R.O.M. points, thus putting her 1 point behind champion Honeybunch as the best producing female in history. There are many questions as to her pedigree. I've seen and heard from several old-time dogmen who have Grider's Chatter as being a brother to Brown's Nig. Out of Eli Jr. breed to Spook. Many say Chatter was Corvino dog, which accounted for the gameness in her progeny. What is known is that Ralph would not have bred her if he wasn't sure of her immediate ancestry. As picky as he was as to how he bred, I feel like he knew exactly how she was bred. But for whatever reasons, it remains purebred but unknown. Now let's talk a little bit about Boyles, champion bolt action R.O.M. I'm going to give a short tribute to a fine bulldog who in turn was an excellent producer. His name is Boyles champion bolt action R.O.M. His sire, Holland's grand champion Cherokee Chief, and his dam, Boyles Dirty Mary, are both R.O.M. producers. Bolt Action was the best producing dog off of Dirty Mary in many dogman opinions. Bolt Action was a 4-time contract winner and lost his 5th to Winchester's champion Chaka in 1 hour 16 minutes. Bolt Action died after his last match and was relatively young but still managed to obtain 5-point R.O.M. status. Not only did he produce champions and a grand champion but also produced dogs who in turn produced champions such as champion Black Bumpus, who produced grand champion Running Candy and champion Dirty Becky. Jersey Boys 2-time winner Bullshannon. Chainsaw Kennel's 1-time winner Dixie, who won over Irish Jerry's 2-time winner. Also a good gyp out of the same litter as Bullshannon and Dixie named Widowmaker. STP owned one from this litter and was said to be a game dog, but was killed in a kennel accident. Captain America made several breedings with Bolt Action. One that comes to mind was the breeding to Gina Blue Eyes, which produced Chopper. There are several others of Bolt Action's offspring who are producing well. Most notably champion Black Tasmanian, who is off a daughter of Bolt Action. I believe the Bolt Action dogs are here to stay and they are from a game-winning line of dogs known as the Boyles line. And now let's talk about Rolling Hills champion Taz R.O.M. Rolling Hills champion Taz was born on April 11, 1988 and was purchased at the age of 6 weeks from his breeder Fat Bill. Taz was bred out of some very outstanding dogs. His sire Fat Bill Stomper, who was a 2-time winner, double bred off of Crenshaw's champion Rascal. Stomper was a very game dog, going over the hour mark several times. His dam, Fat Bill's Chance, was a cold dog but a good producer. Taz was bumped a few times between 12 months and 22 months. He looked good, but nothing special. After his schooling was complete I began to condition and handle the dog. Number 1 Taz vs Texas Ron's Blister. A male at 45.5 pounds, a Pocono dog. Texas Ron was using a dog that was Usultan bred named Blister. He was a fine, well-built animal that had previously destroyed several dogs. He came in at 45.5. Taz came at 44.5. Dogs were washed and then released. Blister gets straight to the right shoulder, shaking hard. Taz was on the ear trying to get him off. 5-minute mark. Taz gets the nose. And does a lot of damage. Blister then goes to the chest and is biting very hard. For the next 15 minutes it's Taz on the head and Blister in the chest. 20-minute marks. Blister goes back to the right shoulder and breaks it. Taz gets the head and is chewing Blister's face off. 30 minutes. A turn called on Blister. For the next 5 minutes Taz is on the nose and lower jaw. 35-minute mark. A handle is made and Blister would not go. The winner. Taz. Number 2 Taz vs Owens. Jake Johnson, male at 44 pounds. He's a Irish Jerry dog. Owens using a dog from Irish Jerry's Jeepers and Rabo breeding. Jake came at 44 pounds, Taz at 43.5 pounds. Dogs were released, hit hard in the center. Wide ass open. Both dogs swapping leg holds, shaking each other hard. Taz then gets Jake by the lower jaw, then goes to the nose. 15-minute mark. Taz throws Jake on his back and goes to the throat and digs in deep, shaking and twisting around. Jake starts singing. Jake back to his feet at 20. And a turn called on him. Taz then throws Jake back to the floor, working the shoulders. Then to the throat. At this point Jake is not moving. Taz is still on the top, shaking and trying to finish him off. 36 minutes. A handle is made. And Jake don't go, making Taz a 2-time winner. Number 3 Taz vs Tomcats. Nabob, male at 43 pounds. He's a Bakari dog. This match was to be into Sills and East Coast Assassins champion Dirty Red. But for reasons unknown never showed up or even paid the forfeit. Anyway, Tomcat was matched into champion John Wayne. And John had just previously beat Crenshaw's Bama. So, the owners of John Wayne were prepared to pay the forfeit. It was decided that Taz and Nabob would be matched. So here we go. Tomcat purchased Nabob from Carl Mims and was a huge 43-pound dog. Taz came in at 42.5. Dogs were released and Taz goes straight to the head and mouth while Nabob is still driving to get a hold. Taz slams him into the wall. Taz is working the head most effectively, but at the 20-minute mark Taz heats up and Nabob gets to the head and mouth of Taz, punching holes. Nabob throws Taz on his back and grabs an ear. Taz goes to the throat. And stays there for the next 5 minutes. Taz then comes to his feet but is still very hot. 30-minute mark. A turn called on Taz. But he's still in hold and he makes it through the heat as well. He's getting chewed up. Taz then throws Nabob to the floor, working the shoulders, and then he goes to the stifles and then back to the head. A handle is made. Taz comes across like a bullet, hitting Nabob very hard in his corner. A handle is made at the 47-minute mark. It's Nabob to go and he's counted out, wandering around the pit, making Taz a champion. Joey Craddock, who had bought Taz as a pup from me, never went to any of his matches. Nor did he condition or handle the dog. He actually did not have the dog on his yard from the age of 22 months until he was 5 years old. I bred Taz a couple times and the best of those breedings was when I bred my Sapello bitch to him to get Grand Champion Bo and several other great dogs. Craddock was blackballed from the dog scene and to this day has no dogs, as he was caught with over 2 dozen stolen dogs on his yard from various breeders. This is my accurate story. Fat Bill. Thanks again for listening to the Texas Scratch King channel. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video and hit the notification icon, so you know when a new one drop. Until the next time, my friends, as we always say, never submit to life and keep scratching every time.